decided to make some compost in preparation for next year's growing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just put together some pots that we're going to be using for composting. You know, that we can get rid of all these food flies that are all over the place and causing me shit because I don't like flies. See all those flies. So this is what we're going to do. To create my composting in place, I'm going to use a pot. This is going to be my first container. If I fill this, then I'll do another one. I'm going to drill a few holes to give it a little bit more breathability, and then I'm going to create layers using cardboard because that's what I have available. Paper and newspaper will work, and the critters that help with composting will come in and go into the cardboard. And the niceness is if you set it up this way, the mice can't get in, especially if you cover it with anything heavy on top, so that it cannot be reached or entered. So let's do that now. So, okay. Let's put this down. Hopefully there's still enough. Yeah, there's battery. So let's find a bit. I'm going to use this bit because it will allow me to make holes really quickly. It's better than drills. Don't know what it's called, but it works. Okay, there we go. So what we do is you need to be careful not to crack the container as you do this. And they're tiny little holes. Only big enough for small critters to come through. So if you see, that's the size I'm going for. So I'm just going to complete that now, and then I'll carry on. The more air you have circulating, the less likely it is that the stuff you put in here will go anaerobic and start to spin. It's so strange to think that when you actually created compost, what you create is rotting, but even if it's rotting, it doesn't smell bad. It smells like earth, or the way I explain it is, it smells a bit like what it smells like after the soil smells like after the rain, which is nice. When you've had a dry season and then you have rain, that's the way it smells. So I'm just going to make sure that I've got proper drainage in the bottom. So if you look in the bottom, I need to make flatter holes at the bottom. So let's do that now. That's just to make sure. Because if you have water stagnant in the bottom, then you end up with anaerobic decomposting, which is what stinks, and you don't want that. I'm going to do the same to all my pots, fill them up during the winter, create compost for next year. So now let's start layering. I've got this. I'll need more cardboard really, but I've got this here now, and then I've got some of these guys. But before I put These are all tomatoes left over from the plants which haven't ripened and started to get blight as winter comes. I've also got over here, I've got the tomato plant itself, which I'm going to put in. Now some people tell you, oh, you can't compost tomato plants because they've got blight. Just like, you know, human parasites which live in us when we're alive, when we die, they die because they rely on us for life. So as any stupid parasite or bug will do, it will kill off its host, and in doing so it ends its own life. In an attempt to survive, it does the opposite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this, I'm going to get soil, layer it with soil, layer it with green material, soil, green material, soil, green material. So then hopefully what will happen is it will break down over the winter months and we will have compost. So let me carry on with that without boring everyone with it. So let's do this. I need soil first of all. The best and easiest soil for me to use is soil from my very own potatoes, which I have not harvested. So one needs to get down to harvesting potatoes. If you plant things, you need to harvest them. So what I'll do is I'm going to put my chipboard in here for a moment because I can go on the top once it's all done up. I've got some weeds in here. I can go in. So can this one. Hope you can see. That's the problem with when I'm recording for myself. Later on, I need to be able to see what I've done. But the question is whether or not I can actually see what is happening. Let's have a look. Yeah. That's better. Right. Let's move this one out of the way a moment. Let's have a look at what we've got in here. Because these potatoes were planted a long time ago. All the other bags were harvested except this one. Let's move this one out of the way. Put this here so I can start to layer the soil as I actually pull out the potatoes as well. Okay, that's one layer of potatoes. Ideally, I need to cut these guys up so that they can actually break down a lot more easily. So what I'll do is I'll get another lot of guys who are better broken up to show you what I'm doing, or I'll start to pull these guys off. I'm just going to crush them with my hands. And just put it all in. Pull this up. It's easily squashable. Sadly, my gloves are not fully waterproof, so by the end, my hands are going to be wet. But oh well, that's all part of life. Gardening. I'm sure the worms will find their way in. Don't know if I've got any critters in this bag here because of the fact that it's so, oh, let's see, soil. Paper. And the paper as long as it's not do. Okay, there's no science to my way of doing things. I just do them the way I think will work, because in nature, what happens to these tomatoes? They just fall in and fall apart. Me breaking them down is just about trying to make it happen faster, making life easier for the bugs that will go in to eat them to find them. But ultimately, you don't really need to do all of this to make it any better, especially when you're not going to be using the pot. What you can do is fill it 3/4 of the way and then add normal compost in the top half to grow on, whilst the bottom half melts and rots down. See, these ones have been sat in here a while and already they're doing it for themselves, so I'll put them all in. I've also got coffee grounds in there. Yep, they're doing it all themselves. No need for Stella to help them out. So let's put more soil onto them. Surprised these potatoes are still fine in here, considering, wow, there's loads of tiny potatoes. Now what I can do is I can rework this pot with some of this soil and some of the green material, in order that next year it will provide us with, I think these are pink fir apples. There we go. Mummy plant. Ooh, potato. The small, very small ones I put back in, and they create the plants for next year. So nothing goes to waste. These fabric pots are really good for having air in them, whatever it is you're growing. They aerate, not too much moisture. And because I use a self-watering system, it means that the water is constantly at the right moisture levels. Almost lost that sidetracked woman. Which will be good for next year. Yeah. And the more I think of it, the more it's likely that I'm going to do it. These pink flat apples seem to have gone further down, so I think I'll put them right down. Look, see? Take out baby potato. If you don't take out baby potatoes, they grow to become big potatoes. Come, push it down. The reason I'm pushing it down is to make it create more heat as it breaks down. I just do what I think. Just go for instinctive gardening. Right, in here, I'm not bothering with any paper because it's breathable, so I don't need to create a bed for anything. It'll break down. So I'm just going to put them all in the bottom, cover them with soil and leave them. When the level drops, I'll add more. Okay, now that we're in the row, harvest of potatoes, which have been in there for a while. I didn't harvest them, so I'm just going to wash them and give them away. But we're going to start this one. This is actually an IKEA container, and I'm going to set it up to be a composter because I've got some more compost stuff that needs to be buried so that we don't get what's it called, fruit flies all over, as I was saying. So this soil already has a few small potatoes in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put all this in the bottom. And if the potatoes choose to grow in it, they choose to grow in it. I'm not going to worry about what they decide to do. I'm in the process of putting all this stuff in. They'll get transferred as well. And I'm transferring wood louse as well, which are very good at breaking down plant material. It's always good to move when you've got the energy, which I've got right now. So I'm moving because I know that in a short while I'll probably lose the energy I have now. I've got some more stuff over there. So when this fills up, I'll start another container. So basically we just go on and on and on like that. There's a plant here that it's an old mustard green. Oh wow, it's producing more greens. Do I kill it? Yeah. See, yeah. These are mustard greens. I suppose I could harvest those and put them away, but no. They'll go into here because it's overgrown, as you can see. So I'll just cut it into here to form some of the green material that will be broken down to create more soil for next year, because as you know, everything has gotten more expensive, and because stuff is more expensive, we need to find ways of saving. One way is to not buy compost, but rather to make it ourselves, which is what I'm doing now. I've always been fascinated by compost making. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I've never done it before. Now this has little aphids on it, so the aphids die with the plant, and I'll make part of the compost. Don't know if you can see them on there. I'm going to take the soil from, I'll leave the rest of this soil in here. Don't want to take any more. They're saying that if I don't, there are a lot of plants in here that have nothing. Oh, they do have plenty to eat. The wood lice have plenty to eat, so I don't have to worry. There's still plenty of food in there. So let's move this out of the way. This is what you call disorganized planning. And disorganized planning does not involve any planning. It just involves doing things when you've got the energy to do them. Okay. These are French beans that never successfully produce much because the watering system wasn't as good as I had planned it to be. But you live and you learn. So next year I'll have better watering systems in here. As you can see, the layers are growing. These are tomatoes in here, so I'm going to use some of this soil to go in here. And when I run out of soil in here, I'll start finding other pots and starting to break them down as well. So basically I'm just using up bits of soil at a time to cover up the material that is breaking down, so it has no access to the outside and therefore no fruit flies. There we go, that will do. And to make it even better, I'm going to cover it like that, so that should keep it covered, and I'll take these out and wash them and they can go in. Okay, thank you. I'm subdued because I'm not well. I'm not normally this subdued, but at the moment I'm not feeling well, so this is tough work for me at the moment. I'm going to put some paper on top as well. I haven't put any water. I haven't watered this because it's wet already. The soil is all wet, so it doesn't need to be wet anymore. Voila, c'est fini. Boom. And I think these work really well because you can stuff them up as you fill them and then just let them sit and break down without any problems. Yay! I think I found my solution, and I just have to dream about it a bit longer until I work it out better. Thank you. Season is at an end, but I'm still here to collect a harvest. I've not been well, so I've been stuck in bed, and suddenly this evening, evening, I feel energetic enough to come down and get a harvest for my parents who have not had anything from my garden yet. So this is what I'm getting them. Let's see. This turnip is so huge. I got to take these off and leave these here because they need to stay to fertilize the soil. So I'll take them 2 turnips because they're staying with my sister. So I'll take 2. This is another one which is also massive. Nice. Let's go see whether or not there's any. Oh, this one looks just about ready, but I'll leave it. I'll leave the others in. I've managed to get a few courgettes for them as well. Look at that lettuce. Looks lovely since my sister picked it. Looks very nice. I could get some Swiss chard or the mustard greens, but let me see if any of the beetroot I saw last week is salvageable today. Sorry, I'm still sniffling. I'm still not well, so these are tiny, but they do need to be thinned out, is my logic. So if I pull one out, very tiny. But if I don't pull any of them out, they push themselves out slowly. So this is another one. These are a weird color. Oh, apologies. The red one hasn't done anything yet. Not sure these are very good gifting. Do they create a good gift? Bits of veg. Okay. Right. Let's move down. I think I can take them some field beans. I feel inspired. Other than this one. Oh, those look so pretty. Pity I can't leave them all as they are. Okay. I'll leave this one to grow bigger as well. I won't harvest it now. Courgettes will need to be cut out now, but I'm not doing that now. I'm just here to do a bit of harvesting and then I'm going. These guys need to be cut back before they flower again. I didn't come with anything to cut this, so I'm just doing a chop and drop with my hands. A bit of a chop and drop, because what you want is all this to create fertilizer which stays in the soil. So I'll need to come and cut all of this back. I've got a pumpkin, so I could take them that pumpkin over there. I don't even know whether it will be nice, but I can take it. I just fell on this paper. I was thinking that paper will be enough all over, but it definitely will not be, because in this wet weather it becomes slippery. But the good news is I've ordered some wood chips, so when the wood chip comes, that will be better. Ow, that hurt, but I'm used to falling. Pak choy, that one down there looks like it could go, but there's not enough of anything, really and truly. The only thing that is ready are the mustard greens and the pumpkin. So let's go get the mustard greens and the pumpkins and we'll be done. Okay, so this pumpkin is going to some cutters. Hopefully it will be nice. I don't know what it will be like, but it is going with me to go say thank you for the fact that they helped me get started here together with these turnips. Okay, I think this is all we're getting today. Let us set off because the day is getting on. It's getting dark. These guys are limp and not worth gifting, so I'll leave them for the critters to have. I don't like gifting things that I wouldn't eat, so these here are things I would eat, and so I'm going to gift them. I'm not sure what or how good the mustard greens will be because they're overseeded in one space and the other ones are not quite ready for picking yet. At least in my estimation, they're not ready. But for them, they may be ready. So, shall we risk it? Maybe a few. Okay.